Hello guys and welcome back to my channel again, and today we're gonna install the Sw-Motech Crashbars onto the VStrom 650. So let's get started. Let's just remove the first two engine mounting bolts, basically 4 of them, sets of 2. All we are using is a simple Allen key. It's a 6mm Allen key. Guys, you can very well see that these have nut lockers in them, so it's highly advisable that we use nut locker onto the bolts that we put in now. Alright guys, so it's a relatively simple process to install. Longer bolts, there are about 8 longer bolts and 2 short bolts, 2 nuts, and there are 8 washers and there are 8 spacers. So the installation is also very simple. The longer bolts go into these 2x2, so there are 2 ways. Basically there are 2 places where these longer bolts will go in, and along with that the washers have to go in from the front, and the spacers will be behind the bars, so that is between the chassis and the bar, the crash bar. So it's relatively very simple, and even this part, the front part, is also very simple. The bolts go in this way and then the nuts come up from the back. So let's get started. So what I had to do here is I had to apply some WD-40 onto the threads and the bolts in order for them to go in quite easily, as the threads were quite hard and stuck, and I was scared of breaking the bolts by applying too much pressure. In a week time, what I would be doing is I would be removing each bolt back again, apply thread locker and torque them back. Please do not miss this step. It's highly recommended to apply thread lockers on the threads on the bolts that mount onto the chassis.
original engine bolt, SWM engine bolt.
Alright guys, so with this we come to the end of this video. All I am doing here is just torquing down all 10 bolts around the crash bar. So 8 on the sides and 2 in the middle at the center near the bottom part. So that's all we have to do, torque them properly. So the important point over here is I did not have thread locker with me, so I could not apply thread locker on these bolts. But I would highly suggest you to use thread lockers on all 8 bolts that mount onto the chassis. What I would be doing is I would be undoing all the bolts in a couple of weeks or days and apply thread locker and again retorque them to the correct spec. The thread locker will make sure that the bolts stay in its own place. Please do not avoid doing this process. Take your time to apply thread locker. This is for the safety of the crash bar and the bike, as thread lockers come very handy and prevents the bolts to undo themselves and fall off. And this being a very important part of the bike, the bolts should not fall off. Alright, so that is how the final look comes out to be. You can see the way it protects the bike. It covers up the perimeter of the tank, and if in case the bike touches down, it should be protecting the bike's fairings pretty well. So I would quickly do a drop test. I just laid down the bike slowly onto the ground and picked it up just to see if the crash bars hold up well, and absolutely they passed the test. So with that we come to the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned something new today. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and loved ones. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.